Hello, Seiiti Arata. So, you and I, all people connected to the internet, we all have the same problem. We have too much information. And I remember back in the day when I was a kid and had this analog camera, it used film. Nowadays we take photos at any time. Anybody with a mobile phone in their pocket has a reasonable camera, but back in the day, taking a photo was a big deal. It was a big event because film was something you had to buy. It was quite expensive, and then you would have to develop. And we would only photograph people during family reunions, birthdays, or trips, and these were quite special events. A roll of 24 shots or 36 shots would last several months until the day that my parents would take it to develop. We had far fewer photos than we have today. And just look at the gallery of your phone right now. You probably have multiple photos of the very same things before the internet. There are several examples of how the internet has changed the world. To send a letter, just think about it. You have to have a pen and paper and write it down and then procrastinate until the day you go to the post office and wait for the postman to do their thing. So now with the internet is so different. We have dozens or hundreds of daily notifications, not only from email, but also from Facebook and Twitter and WhatsApp and Instagram and whatever other social network that you like. In the past, the main sources of information were the newspapers, and usually these were local. To gain access to information produced in other locations, we would have to pay a high price through newsstands that were specialized in imported content. And today we get news from all over the world with just a few clicks. In fact, we don't even have to click because this type of information, it comes as news jumping in front of us in our feeds and timelines that we follow. How to deal with so much information? I believe that there are two main approaches that we can take in face of so much information. Before, in the more analog world, we had less information to manage, so it was easier. It was easier to be handling fewer things. Now, with this gigantic avalanche of data that we receive every day, we need to develop a special ability to process everything. So, number one, do nothing about it. The passive approach is simply to let life happen. You just go along without a specific agenda, specific strategy, and just keep track of your social media whenever you can. And when you can't, no problem, just ignore it. For example, there are days when you open your email daily and then you respond to everything and you feel good about yourself, but then there will be other moments when you just let things accumulate and just count on the goodwill of the other person who is sending you emails to send you again or ask why you're not replying. The result of doing nothing to manage the information is that maybe you end up kind of overlooking some important things. Maybe you embarrass yourself in some professional situations because you didn't pay attention to some urgent matters. That's a price to pay. You may miss out on some important and interesting events of your personal life as well. Left unattended, your email inbox will get full and messy, and the same thing will happen to your computer's desktop and also that folder where you keep all the downloaded files, important work files that you get from email, but also whenever you save some recipe that you found on the internet, everything will be together. That 3-year-old airfare promotion with the last reunion picture with your friends. See, lack of organization criteria has a name. It's a big mess. And when you don't organize yourself with sensible criteria, you may have an easy time right now, but you pay the price later. Because later you will spend time trying to find things. So option number 2 would be to take control. That's the other way to avoid the pain by paying the price in advance. You're gonna suffer a little bit already now, spending your time and energy every day to clean your inbox, to filter the important notifications and emails, and do what has to be done whenever those things pop up in front of you. And whenever your phone is vibrating or whistling, you just stop everything you're doing to take a look at that notification. So it's quite clear that there are also benefits and problems with this type of approach. Your things are not going to pile up because you're stopping everything to take care of them, but at the same time you have some difficult time to be focused on one single important activity because you're stopping everything to keep everything clean. The apparent speed to which we respond to and we take care of everything may look like productivity, but in the end it will affect our quality of life. It will create a little bit of anxiety because we feel that we need to be connected all the time. And then when we want to enjoy our time with our family, our friends, we'll have that irresistible compulsion to just take a quick look at the mobile phone. We talked about this in the number 15 episode of the Productivity Arata series in arata.se/PE number 15. Another possible path. So my goal here is for you to learn how to evaluate the time that you use to be processing the information as soon as it arrives versus the time that you spend creating all types of systems to help you to be processing that type of information. Let me explain that. I receive a lot of emails from airlines and from my miles programs, and I could easily click to unsubscribe and not get anything. But if I would do that, maybe I would miss very exclusive offers that they will send me, or I would also have the risk of losing my mileage program points because I didn't see their expiration date. So the best way that I was finding until quite recently was to be processing all that type of information as soon as the emails arrive. I would open, have a quick look, and if it was not important, no good offer, or just delete. But then I found that it would be much better to rethink the way I process this type of information. So let's say that a great promotion arrives. If I don't have the time, if I'm too busy with other activities, no matter how interesting the promotion is, it's not useful. So promotions are only interesting when I'm actively trying to search it. Because of that, I have a filter now. On my email, every time there are emails arriving from those companies, the travel-related messages, they arrive and they are automatically archived. They don't clutter my inbox. They don't go to the trash, they are in a specific folder. Whenever I'm thinking of having a trip, I go to that folder, I see which of those offers are still valid. And regarding the risk of losing my points, instead of consulting emails, notifying me about those deadlines, when they expire, I did something different. I created a notification on my calendar about the expiration date. Then I don't have to be worried about when the points will expire because I already know. See, in this example, if I would have 15 minutes available, I could waste those 15 minutes reading email by email and then deciding what to do and then having to do that over and over and over for the entire year. Or I could spend those 15 minutes to think about them and create filters and systems and reminders on my calendar. This option has much more value because it's something that I only do once, maybe once a year, and they will solve my problem repeatedly for many and many times. With so much information available and jumping up in front of us at every turn, we need to have a healthy information diet. Whenever you realize that something is coming up, stop a little bit and ask yourself, do I really need this? Does it really make sense for me to consume so much information like this? Or should I shift into a search mode and then I just ignore it right now, and whenever I need, I do a search about that type of information. Dealing effectively with email and all types of information is one of the most fundamental skills of an organized person now. And I wrote a mini ebook that you can read in 7 minutes. It contains valuable material about organization that can help you to be a more organized person now. And to download this ebook for free, you can just go to the link arata.se/focus and organization.